I want to feel like I changed people's lives.
Yeah, definitely. I think when I joined the industry, I didn't really believe in myself, and it's taken quite a journey.
You know, like in the industry, for me, like I found that like there's a whole lot of like gatekeepers, you know what I mean? So it's a world where one needs to be strong.
Hi everyone, welcome to our music issue roundtable, celebrating music and creativity. I'm with our cover stars, Simphiwe Dana, Da Capo, and Bongeziwe. So we're just having a chat about music and creativity. So Simphiwe, I'll start with you. What does creativity mean to you, and how do you hold it?
It means being honest about the world around me, making it more beautiful so that it's aspirational, and finding the best ways about the world, but also confronting those things that taint that world, and also just envisioning the world that could be.
Is that the same for you? Because when would you say that's what creativity means to you? How do you, we've seen your work, but how do you hone that? How do you inspire your own creativity?
Yeah, I guess it's definitely the same for me. I think in a world where there's so much hatred and darkness, I think art and creativity is definitely emphasizing what's beautiful about the world, and also like almost like showing a mirror of who we really are. That's what I think art and creativity is.
And for you, Da Capo?
So yeah, creativity for me, you know, it's about being unique, uniqueness. You know, standing out amongst the rest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's very important, you know, to be recognized as, you know, someone who is, you know, very stand out amongst like, you know, like everyone basically. So yeah.
And you know what, like we had creativity, we had a music issue and a creative issue last year. This year is a joint issue, and I know a lot of creators were so excited when we did last year. I got some DMs saying thank you for putting together an issue about creativity and music. For me, the intention of doing the issue is to obviously celebrate you guys for the wonderful work that you do, but also to highlight your success and your journey so that other people who want to follow into your footsteps can see what the journey looks like. What can you say, Simphiwe, are the realities of the music industry that we might not hear about, we might not talk about? What are those realities that, because when we see you performing Umoya, like it's packed, what are those realities that behind the scenes that the youngsters might not know? Even some people who are older as well.
Well, before you get on that stage, there's a lot of work that goes into it. For instance, we started working on Moya 6 months ago.
Oh, wow.
First, brainstorming what we wanted to look like, finding all the people that we would love to work with, even the designers, the musicians, etc., and then mapping out the PR that we want to put out there because of the certain people that, you know, we want to attract to the show. But also, most importantly, it starts with the music. What I want to impart, the message that I want everyone to get, and that's the most important thing. And it can take a while to craft that. But I think it is important also how you carry yourself in the industry for longevity. You know, to not be swayed by the trends, etc. But also, I think it's very important to stay home. Do not be all over the place. Preserve yourself. There's so many different energies out there that will affect even your creative process. Be an observer from afar.
I love that. Da Capo, do you feel the same way? I mean, do you like staying home after a gig, after you've been out there? Do you resonate with what Simphiwe is saying? It's important. Energy is important. I feel the same.
That's so true. Like, yeah, energy is very important. So like I'm one person that's mostly spend like almost all my time at home, you know. But one thing I would tell, you know, like, you know, people that are not in the industry, you know, it's not that easy. You know what I mean? You know, you find people like us who deal with like traveling. Now you have fatigues, and then you have so many shows. Your health is, you know, it's kind of like involved. You know what I mean? And one other thing would be that, you know, like in the industry, for me, like I found that like there's a whole lot of like gatekeepers. You know what I mean? So it's a world where one needs to be strong. You know, you need to believe in yourself. You know, you need to work hard to achieve and to be successful.
Speaking of believing in yourself, Bongeziwe, what does that look like? Because I think sometimes you say believe in yourself, trust in the process. We say all these things, but what do they look like in practicality, in action? And have you ever had to actively say those things and also walk the walk?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I joined the industry, I didn't really believe in myself, and it's taken quite a journey. And I think it's quite important, I think, for an artist. You know, somebody said, like, sometimes for us Black people, these creative things come so naturally that it takes a while for us to value because it's in us. So yeah, it took a long time for me to believe in myself, but I think now I wish I had believed in myself a lot earlier. And it's kind of hard to explain what believing in yourself, but I guess it's more seeing value in what you do and seeing beauty in what you do. Yeah.
And what would you say, and this is for any one of you, how would you say, what are your thoughts on the state of music in South Africa and in the world right now? What would you say, Simphiwe? The state of music. Would you say, oh, so progressive, a lot of gatekeeping, creativity is booming? What would you say, state of music?
I think I'm a tad older than these guys. So there's quite a number of these new musicians whose music I can't get into, you know. Perhaps I'm too set in my ways when it comes to that. But my worry, as someone who's older, and we always have this criticism, this music of this day is unlike back in the day, you know, but I feel like there's, it gets so trendy that it will not have a legacy. It will not last. So it gets to a point where we are making fast food music. That's my biggest worry about music today. But then again, like I said, I'm old. I may not get it.
No, but I think I agree with you. I mean, there's a song I was thinking about earlier this week, and I mean, I won't say the name of the song, but I thought to myself, it's interesting how, yes, we're enjoying the song, but I don't see myself playing the song 5 years from now. You know, your songs like Ndiredi, you can still play even now, and yet you released it over 10 years ago. 19 years ago. 19 years ago. And it's so when I think about that, I'm comforted in that there is longevity in the industry when I look at people like you, but I also look at this new music. I'm like, you know what, people are having a good time. For you, Bongeziwe, state of music?
You know, I think I see a lot of growth, you know, especially in South African audiences. I remember when I started off, I go to shows and people would talk through shows, and if there was music that they didn't understand, they would sort of dismiss it. And now I see the trend of listening more, of being attentive to shows, and I really appreciate that sort of growth. I think South African music is changing, and I think, you know, with great artists coming up, Zoe and Akane, I think definitely there's a lot of hope.
Yeah. And my second last question, right? You guys are in an industry where you have a lot of people who admire you, right? A lot of people admire you, a lot of people love your work, but sometimes there are awkward fan encounters. Da Capo, I'll start with you. What's the most awkward or most interesting or most like, oh wow, fan or supporter encounter you've ever had?
Wow. It's not a crazy story, but it's a beautiful one. You know, I was playing in Botswana, and I was playing some song. I think it was popular like back in 2012. You know, so there was a group of ladies, you know, like that were in front. So immediately when I played that song, they burst into tears. You know what I mean? And since that day, that's when I knew that, okay, like I feel like, you know, music is very special. You know, music touches a lot of hearts, you know? That's for me, that's a beautiful story to tell, you know? And it's a, you know, beautiful thing in culture, basically, yeah.
Strangest. I think I encounter, you know, when fans meet you for the first time and they've always wanted to meet you, they can forget that you're a human being. You become a prop. Yes. You become a prop in their photos and they just come and grab you. Check it. Like, I'm like, okay, just ask me. You know, I get that a lot, but, you know, most times I allow it. But sometimes I'm not in a good mood. I'm like, just ask me first. You know, it's the courteous thing to do. But, you know, like Da Capo, I've experienced a lot of shows where it's very emotional. Like if I mention Moya, for instance, that was a very emotional show for many people. Like at times I couldn't look at the audience because they were going to make me cry. I'm supposed to sing, you know. So that's this beautiful thing sometimes about music, that you take people to that place. Yeah.
For you, Bongeziwe?
Yeah, I would say also this is quite special. I think I was having a really terrible day, terrible time. And you know, somebody from the car just rolled down the window and said, Bongeziwe, I love you. And you know, like, I find that so special that, you know, you can do work and people can say things like that to you. And at times it's when you need to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, what kind of, and I usually don't like this question, but I'll ask it anyway, what kind of legacy or what do you want your artistry to leave behind or portray? Bongeziwe, what do you want your legacy or your artistry to be?
Yeah, you know, I often think, like, you know, when people buy my music, they actually buy a piece of my soul and a bit of my heart. So, and I think it relates to it, not necessarily in a musical form, but in my spirit and in who I am. So I hope my legacy is nothing about music. It's also about my kindness, my compassion, my humility.
For you, Da Capo?
Right. For me, look, I feel like I'm, you know, one of the messengers that were sent here to influence and inspire, you know, like future musicians, or it can be present musicians, you know what I mean? Reason is because I get like a lot of, you know, like messages from different people that, yo, your music changed my life. You know, look, bro, the first time I heard your music, I also wanted to become a musician. You know, first time I heard your music, I was depressed, and then I heard your music, and then my life changed after that. You know, so I feel like this is a gift from God, and you know, basically it's to just continue to inspire people through the music that I do. Yeah, that's the legacy that I want to live.
Simphiwe?
I want to feel like I changed people's lives. I made them think in a different way. And in that way, I shifted the consciousness of the people. And therefore, I left the world a better place than I found it.
Wow, I love that. And that's it. Thank you so much.